Good day, everyone. Alice here from Safi Financial Network. Today is June 23rd, 2023. Let's just start with the news today. Here is the weekly analysis. But before getting into the chart, let's just start with the news. So, as you know, Wagner Group boss said, seems like there is going to be an internal conflict in Russia between Russia Army and Wagner Group, and that they're just getting into the Russia territory right now. So it's kind of like internal conflict, regardless of who is right or who is wrong, because I have no idea, to be honest. But at the same time, we can see how it's going to impact the market. Definitely, it's going to impact the energy market. Definitely, it's going to impact the gold and also US stock market as well. And 100% it's going to impact innocent people. Let's pray for innocent people again. So we don't like any conflict anywhere around the world. And this is very, very unfortunate that this is getting escalated again in that area. So hopefully everything goes well. We just can pray and nothing else. So let's go to the fear and greed index. So due to downtick last 2-3 days, still we are in greed. So it seems like there is no panic still in the market, but this one is getting cooled down. The market is getting into the corrective move to the downside. So right now, this is AAAI, so bull bear ratio. And as you see here, bullish people still 42-43%, and this is one of the biggest bullish reading. I've seen like a 56 or so during the bull market, but right now this is in at extraordinary situation. So we have a 45%, 44%. Last 3 weeks we had this bullish sentiment, which is kind of like a contrary indicator. And as you see here, when we have this amount of bear people in the market, and the market just going up higher and higher, this is due for corrective move to the downside, and this sentiment needs to cool down, and it will be. So based on the sentiment, we are at kind of like in the bullish momentum, but this is, as I said, contrary indicator, and we should be just a bit careful about this, especially when we are at the top for the market, at least for the short-term top. So let's start with S&P 500. Let's go to weekly chart as usual, based on our weekly analysis. So we expected a downtick, and sure enough, we had a downtick for this week. IMI is in very, very extraordinary bullish momentum last week, and right now we are just coming down. So I believe this one can still cool down to this area. So we'll see how it goes. But based on the price action, we are at one of the biggest bear market rally in the history. So still some people are saying bear market is over, but I don't think so. So we need to just see how it goes. But I believe still we are in a bear market, but this is one of the biggest bear market rally, and that's called as like a secular bear market, and this is going to be a cyclical bull market. So right now we are just getting series of higher high, higher lows after October bottom. But right now we just got into a sell signal from stochastic, from RSI. We just hit kind of like a pretty close to the overbought condition in weekly chart, and then coming down. And MACD, as you see here, there's a nice divergence here. There are 3 tops here that we can see a divergence in MACD. So all in all, we're due for correction, and corrective move is coming down the road. I believe that's going to be kind of like short-term buying signal is coming in next 2-3 weeks. So just be careful on the second week, especially second week of July. So we should see a bottoming formation in the market, and that could be kind of like for aggressive short-term traders and also investors. They can just buy some stocks there just because the rally is going to be expected after that, getting into September period. So I should say September, October could be the top information. Market will be due for another corrective move to the downside. I don't know if it's going to be a final rally or so, but at least we can say this movement can be expected for the next 2 to 3 months. So we are just beginning of the summertime. So summer rally, I believe, is not started yet. So we will be in corrective move for 2-3 weeks. And then when we are getting to the some portion of, I should say, decent level. So here is 42.77. That's going to be the first level that I have. But below that, it's going to be a 41 to 4,200. We shouldn't get close below 4,200 on a monthly basis. So next week we will close monthly chart, and I don't think we are going to close below 4,200. If we get close below 4,200, that's going to be a crazy rejection from the top, and that would be pretty stall signal for the market. So as I said here, so this is kind of like a 4,200. If we get this month is now green, so if we get the rejection to the downside, that would be kind of like a shooting star at the top, and that would be kind of like a sell scenario, something like this, which happened in August, June, July, May. This is a June 2008, and then we went all the way down to the lower low. I don't think that's going to happen this time. So still, we are in a cyclical bull market, and we had a nice consolidation to the upside. This is a nice monthly consolidation. So still in a bull market, but right now we just got a sell signal, and we are due for a corrective move, and correction is coming down the road. So probably 42 to 4,300 is coming down the road for the next 2-3 weeks. So we will see how it goes. Moving on to the daily chart. So daily chart, we got a sell signal again confirmed. So yesterday I told you guys we can see a dead cat bounce here, but this is not going to be the end of the corrective move. This is just the beginning, if you ask me, especially when weekly charts follow for the sell signal. So probably we will see a downtick to here, somewhere around here, which is going to be 42 to 4,300. So somewhere around that range. So we can see another just a bounce here, and then another sell signal to here to the second week of July. So that would be kind of like the bottom information here for the 4,200, if you ask me. So I'm just looking for this. This is going to be like an ABC pattern. So this is going to be an A, and this is going to be a B, and this is going to be a C pattern to the downside. And that could be kind of like the bottom information for the market for the next rally to the upside. And this rally can go to higher high even. So 44.77 to 45, 12 or 30, even higher. That could be expected by I should say, the latter part of August, and then we can see a sharp decline to the downside. And if that decline gets below this bottom, which is coming in next weeks, that could be kind of like a very, very warning sign for the market. It could be kind of like a tricky warning sign for the market, because it seems like we are again getting into the bear market, and the bull market has been finished. So still early for that situation to say exactly how market is going to react. We are not forecasting. We are just seeing the market day by day, week by week. And that was kind of like the scenario that I was looking for, but anything can change. So we are just changing our analysis. We should be very, very flexible every single time, especially at this stage of the game. Moving on to Nasdaq weekly chart. So we got a bearish Harami for Nasdaq just coming down to 14,887. So we got sell signal for Nasdaq, and sure enough, we did sell signal today, and right now it's in our favorite right now. So this one can go down all the way to 14,000, and 14,000 area could be kind of like the first bottom information for Nasdaq. So if this one can go down here, and we will see a dead cat bounce here coming back up, and again sell off to here to 13,000. I'm not expecting this area engulf to the downside. If it engulfed to the downside, this means technology rally is over, and we just need to see all the dead cat bounces to the upside. Could be a selling opportunity. I'm not seeing that one yet, but this can happen right now. Still looking for this bottom information like a buying opportunity. As you see here, stochastic momentum in weekly chart is pretty stretched overbought. RSI is at kind of like very overbought reading. So this is good for bulls and also for bears at the same time, just because bears can get a sell signal, bulls can say we are back to the bull market, which I doubt about it, to be honest, but we will see how it goes. Moving on to daily chart. So daily chart confirmed our sell signal. Here is the momentum to the downside. Nicely, RSI is coming down nicely to the downside. And also, we got confirmation today that yesterday it was just a dead cat bounce. This is kind of like forming a bearish consolidation. But as you see here, the downtick is pretty shallow, right? So still is not that strong. So we got this bounce, and then we can see a downtick to here, which is 14,400. Could be kind of like the bottoming formation. And also, even if we can see here like a fifth wave to the downside, to here, I should say that's going to be the end for the market, like a corrective move. And the timing period again is going to be like a July period, especially half of the July, or let's say 10 to 15 or even 20th of the July could be kind of like the bottoming formation for the market. So we'll see how it goes with that one. But at the same time, moving on to the Dow Jones, this could be one of the outperformer for the market. So right now, let's move on to the weekly chart first. Here's the weekly chart for Dow Jones. Dow just forming pretty nice, you see. So this is a pretty nice reverse head and shoulder, and this one triggered to the upside. So right now we just got a pullback, and this engulfing candle probably scared lots of people, but I don't think it's going to engulf this pivotal point. It's not going to take out this pivotal point. So anything around here for the next 2-3 weeks, that could be kind of like the bottoming formation, and then rally to the upside could be bought by buyers. If we take out this high, I should say Dow pave its way for a nice rally to the upside, and probably we will see a new all-time high for Dow Jones later this year, especially September to November. That could be kind of like a Dow rally, and then after that we can see kind of like a sharp sell-off after that. So, but November time especially, and also I should say even summer rally. So let's say next 6 months for the market, I'm kind of like a bullish for the Dow and slightly bearish or neutral for S&P 500 and Nasdaq, especially Nasdaq. I'm not bullish at all. So I should just make it clear here that I'm kind of like inclined to Dow stocks rather than Nasdaq, especially at this time when everything is on fire for the Nasdaq and technology. Moving on to the daily chart. So daily chart, we got over fat line is getting to the oversold condition, which means we are just getting into the bottom shortly. So if you see somewhere around here, you shouldn't be surprised, especially when that Russian news is getting escalated. So it's gonna just have a like impact on gold and also crude. So crude can spike up for the energy stocks as well. So you see energy stocks again ramping up, and you shouldn't surprise Dow just formed the bottom here, because Dow lots of energy stocks like Chevron, Exxon, all those stuff actually are there, and also healthcare and defensive names. Market is gonna just pouring money into defensive names, healthcare names, and some industrial names again. So Dow cannot perform and also find a bottom shorter than the other indexes. So we'll see if Dow can find a bottom. Not next week, but I should say first week of July, we can see the bottoming formation, a nice bottoming formation for Dow Jones. So earlier than the other one. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to some individual names, starting with let's go up there, starting with yield. Here's the yield at a negative day. So yield coming down, gradually going up, but as you see here, momentum is pretty pretty shallow and it's not that deep. So it's kind of like a forming ending diagonal in the yield. If this one goes below and break down, so that could be kind of like the selling signal for the yield. So let me be clear on this. So if yield goes below this trend line here, so this ending diagonal is forming nicely right now in favor of gold, in favor of treasuries, and in favor of even could be stock market in some sectors. But this is kind of like early signal as I see for the top information. So yield can go down if it breaks below this trend line and if it breaks this ending diagonal. If it goes below this, which is 4.30%, that means market is going to have a recession earlier than everyone is expected. But right now, it's just going up and gradually it's just forming the ending diagonal. On the other side, yield was down, treasury was up, but treasury was not that strong as well. So it's kind of like a confusing. I said if treasury goes above this pivotal point and close above this gap, so that could be very, very bullish signal. But here's the low, higher low, here's the higher low, here's the higher low. So based on this pattern, treasury is forming very, very bullish, but I don't see kind of like a reaction to this lows. So we need to see spike up in treasuries and bonds to here. So 104, 103, that could be the level. So treasury needs to hold this level and kind of like a consolidating. And if it consolidates here, that's going to spike up to the upside. 108, 107, that's going to be a massive resistance. If it goes there and then pull back consolidation, that could be just poise its way for 113 to 118, which I believe it's going to happen this this summer or even just fall. But I don't think Federal Reserve is going to pivot or pause in this year. So probably next year, but this year probably we will see maximum. The best scenario is going to be a pause and just keep watching the market, which is kind of like an early signal for treasuries. On the other side, gold as well. So it's forming like it's ending diagonal. Still looking for this ending diagonal form to the upside, but it's early. So we need to see another just a down to here and then going up. So today we had uptick, a nice candle, but not that strong. So it was kind of like an early session. It was 1970, 1937, but failed to hold and then going down all the way to 1920. Still lots of resistance here, 1937. So 1937 is not, it's kind of like a strong level for bears, but it's not good level for bulls. Bulls need to engulf and close above 1937. And if it gets above this and hold above this, then we should say gold just formed the bottom here and it's getting ready for another upside move, at least to this area, to this supply area, which is 2020 to 2025. So that's the level that I'm looking for, but we need to see a bottom. Still, I don't see a bottom information yet. So we'll see how it goes with gold. Moving on to the US crude, just a massive kind of like a buy here. So it seems like institution got into crude and they know already about the news in Russia. So it was kind of like a down, but look at that. So the shadow, the tail is up. So crude needs to get above these levels, which is 72, 73. And the maximum level is going to be 75. So I'm not surprised if you see crude just open up, gapped up here, early session in future markets, 74, 75. So if this tension in Russia escalates more, we should see 74, 75 gap for crude. But if it fails to the downside, that would be pretty bearish signal for crude. This one can go all the way down here. But if it holds that area, and then we can see another spike to the upside and probably war in Ukraine or the other places, hopefully not, it's gonna just escalate the market. Oops. All right, so we will see how it goes, but just to keep an eye on the news and keep an eye on the macro news, especially those tensions are going to impact the crude. Crude is in no man's land, so it's kind of like forming a very I should say frustrative ending diagonal. So look at the base here. So the base is kind of like very frustrating. I'm kind of like inclined to some kind of like a scenario that crude just spike down as a washout low to just clean out all the stop losses here and then reversing back up to the upside. I'm still bullish in crude, and I think the bullish movement is not finished yet. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to the VIX, VIX just a spike up today. Not that strong, but still finding out kind of like a scenario. There is a divergence here if you just check out with RSI everything. So VIX needs to close this ending diagonal to the upside. If this one close to the upside, especially above 15, I should say VIX can spike up all the way to 20. So there is a small gap here, which is 17 to 18, but it's not going to be that strong. So I believe VIX still can go to $20 for the next corrective move for the market and not crash. And also that could be corrective move in upside for VIX. VIX still can go down again another time here when we have summer rally. Dixie just a spike up, a very sharp spike for the Dixie, and I believe due to the news, seems like smart money knows where it goes, and Dixie, VIX, U.S. crude, and gold and treasuries just showing us a panic is coming to those big investors, not for the retails, but big investors just feel smell of blood in the market, at least for the short term of time. So moving on to technology sector, Apple was down today, but not a bad candle at all. So Apple still is in momentum. Just a nominal new all-time high today, just coming down shortly after that, but closing at a 186. Apple needs to close below this pivotal point or at least consolidation here. If it goes below this, that's going to be ugly for Apple. But right now, Apple is in bullish momentum, so we should just see this one as a like uptrend, and any corrective move could be bought by buyers. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to Amazon. Amazon just 82 cents loss today. Just hit our target here, so it is at 130, and then doesn't hold up pretty well. So it's just forming the doji. Probably that doji is kind of like indecisive for the market. Meta just sharply again going to the upside. 289, 889. Meta is in fire. Look at the chart here. It's pretty steep to the upside. So it's due for corrective move. There are lots of gaps there. So there is one here, another one is here. So Meta can go down to here to this area again. So I'm not gonna be surprised if you see something like that happen for Meta. If we have this in our portfolio, we are happy with this movement. I just provide video here. I will put a link up there to see how we see this chart is going to explode to the upside. But right now, I'm just be careful about the technology stocks. Microsoft just coming down today, $4.69 to the downside. Seems like Microsoft is forming the top already. So if it goes below this at 325, 320, that could be kind of like the ending scenario for Microsoft and can go lower. Google just 81 cents to the downside. It's just holding up for now, but I believe Google is just resilient to the downside right now, but can go it can go lower. When market is coming down, Google can go lower as well for the corrective move. Netflix $1.54 up, so it's just a go to this gap. This one can go down here to this area. Tesla just a 3% downside. Bearish Harami. Tesla forming the top, I believe. This is kind of like the supply area. Tesla can go down to here to 200, 210 again. So at least the top of this, let's say Tesla can test here this area. So here's the level that I'm looking for Tesla, just this wide range bar. This candle just break out to the upside, this gap. This is the pivotal point, and this is the previous supply tested a couple of times, break out to the upside. So Tesla can go 200 to 220. Right now it's at 260, so we'll see how it goes. Moving on to the semiconductors, which you need to pay attention to this sector because it was kind of like a market leader for the last bull market. I mean, like last bull market since October. So look at that. So semiconductors are kind of like a forming the top information, if you ask me. SMH, which is semiconductor index, got into pretty close to new all-time high, kind of like a double top formation. This is a kind of like a new reaction for the market. So market cannot hold up pretty well. If it goes below this, moving on to SOX. So SOX is coming down as well. So $8.69 to the downside. TSM just $1.22 to the downside. AMD. So this one just finding out here at this level, which is kind of like demand area here. So that's kind of like a natural reaction. But AMD can go down here if it doesn't hold or consolidates here, which I believe it's going to consolidate here. It can go lower to this level as well. So we'll see how it goes. So we will see how it goes, but this one can still go down to here. Nvidia, which was kind of like a rocket star for semiconductors, this one is coming down as well. So it's still in the top information, pretty high. So Nvidia needs to go below 367, then it can go all the way down to here. Texas Instrument coming down sharply. So this one can find a bottom due to the news because it's kind of like a helping the military services as well. So this semiconductor producer, this is Monologue semiconductor. Texas Instrument is kind of like using for Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics. They're using lots of semiconductors from this. But due to the news, like a military news, they can just gain a bit. Lam Research, $11 down. This is kind of like a consolidation. But this consolidation, if it fails here, I should say that's going to be a bad news for the Lam Research because this one can go all the way down to here to this area, which is 480 to 520. So this $40 range could be met by next 2-3 weeks. Moving on to the financials, XLF, which is Spider ETF for the financials. So this one, just hold up a bit. I know it was negative, but look at the candle. So candle goes down here. I told you this is going to be a corrective move to the downside. KBE, which was coming down at the beginning, but getting into this consolidation. So KBE can form the bottom here. If it forms the bottom, that would be pretty nice buying signal again. So this one can go as like a forming a leaf rock pattern to the upside. So we need to see the reaction. But if this one goes down below this, that would be pretty ugly. So again, it's very, very interesting to see how Monday will open the market. KRE just nicely going down, testing this trend line here. So we'll see how it goes. But if this one holds pretty well and then coming back up, especially above this, that triangle means triggers the buy side. So 49 and then 53 and then 56 coming in a row. So we'll see how it goes. JP Morgan, just hold up now. So it goes to this gap, the candle. I know 73 cents down, but nothing bad. Goldman Sachs, this is in pre-fall. So look at that. So this is stock doesn't stop. So this one is coming down, taking out this pivotal point. Could be ugly because it can go down here. And I think it's going to go to here to this double bottom, which is 288 to 292. So we'll see how it goes. Bank of America, 21 cents to the downside. Nothing bad, nothing good. Wells Fargo, 45 cents to the upside. It's better price action, gap down. Seems like capitulated. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to the gold miners. Gold miners, gold was positive, but gold miners actually were not that good. So that's what I'm saying. Gold still is at early stage to say it forms the bottom. So we need to see how gold and gold miners are doing at the same time. So it seems like the gold miners still needs to find the bottom here. Even it can stretch down here to this level. So we'll see how it goes. GDXJ, just a zero uh, change compared to Thursday session. Still in this area, so I need to change this area to be honest. And this is the new area that I'm looking for, this gap. And still this can go lower low. However, this is forming kind of like at the earliest stage of the ending diagonal. AEM, this one 2 cents up, so nothing bad, nothing good. And EM 57 cents down. So this is not strong chart, but still above this pivot. So we'll see how it goes. Franco Nevada, just a 60 cents down upside. So gold barrick actually was positive again today. So needs to go above this pivotal point, $17. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to the XLE, which is Energy Spider. So energies actually just ended up positive, gap down, but ended up positive, and it's kind of like an early bullish signal. If it goes above this pivot, just keep an eye on the Russia again. So this is going to impact the Russia energy sector. So we'll see XOP, this one, just a pullback and then coming back up nicely. OIH. Bullish consolidation seems like hold up in this wide range bar. Exxon 90 cents down, but hold up for now. Not a good pattern. We'll see if this one goes up again or not. So Chevron, just to hold up for now, this pivot, but if it goes down, this can go all the way down to 142 to 144. Oxy, 45 cents down to this level. This is not a strong pattern at all. And REIT, 2% down. This is just not going anywhere. So it's kind of like in sideways range consolidation. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I believe I covered everything. If you like this video, please smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and have a good one. See you on the chart. Bye-bye.